This video is sponsored by Deep Cut Studios. For a wide range of fantastic gaming resources such as battle mats, dice trays and pre-painted bases, check out the description below.
My friend, Pandora may be one of the most terrifying people you'll ever have the misfortune of meeting in Malifaux. She is cruel, malicious, and most terrifying of all, unpredictable. A chaotic woman who's always on the lookout for more playthings, whether that be human or even other Neverborn. One of the main reasons she is so terrifying is because of the box she carries, a strange, ancient-looking thing that is capable of manifesting a person's fears in the form of woes. There are lesser woes, like aversions, the woes of disgust. I suggest you leave quickly if one of those appear at a fancy dinner party if you don't want to lose your lunch. There are also woes of sorrow, which, as you can guess, are really good at making you feel really bad inside. But there are two woes specifically that you should definitely steer clear of. There's Candy, the woe of innocence corrupted, who hated humanity almost as soon as she was born from that box. Which is, fair. Malifaux is probably not the best first impression to have of the human race. There is also Baby Cade, the woe of betrayal, who loves acting like the most innocent of babes, before he literally stabs you in the back. Besides the woes, there are other entities that seem to follow Pandora around, attracted to the suffering she causes. Most of the time it's just poltergeists, the ghosts happy to help cause some mental anguish on Pandora's latest victims. On rare occasions, though, you might find the still-breathing Iggy. Iggy was an orphan, and, as is the fate of many orphans in Malifaux, he was stuck in an orphanage with a bunch of other unwanted kids. Now, orphanages in Malifaux aren't the best. The city as a whole is not so good at helping the helpless. But this one was by far the worst. You see, this orphanage was a front. In truth, the adults in charge were using the kids to power soul stones. That look of disgust on your face, that shows you know exactly what that meant. Iggy found out, and in a rage, used his untrained magic to burn the adults and the orphanage to the ground. What he had forgotten, though, was that the adults kept the building locked down to prevent their merchandise from escaping. In the end, the only person and orphan left alive was Iggy. The kid, broken by what he had done, now follows Pandora around, burning up any adults he perceives as hurting children, which, in his state of mind, is all of them. It seemed that Pandora would have continued her chaotic ways forever, until some recent issues has put some extra stress in Pandora's life. Stress that causes her to call in the box's power more and more. And, as a consequence, she is becoming colder, darker, and somehow even more cruel. And, perhaps, even becoming addicted to the box's power. It begs the question, doesn't it, my friend? Was Pandora really in control of the box? Or maybe it was always the other way around.
Hi guys, welcome back to our Malifaux Masters Breakdown, where we showcase the factions and personalities vying for soulstones and dominance in the Broken City. Today's episode features the disturbing Neverborn master Pandora and her aptly named woe keyword. Pandora's woes excel at conditions and control, which can then be exploited for positive flips, damage and repositioning. With high ping damage through actions and abilities, the crew can quickly eat away at enemy health pools. Pandora's main condition of choice is stunned, which can stop enemies from being able to declare triggers and also forces bonus actions to count towards a model's action limit. This is achieved through the Glimpse of Insanity opposed willpower jewel, which can be applied from up to 8 inches away. The Neverborn's main mechanic revolves around the Misery ability, a 6-inch aura that can be triggered once per activation when an enemy gains the listed condition or stunned. Once triggered, Misery allows a woe to impose either a point of damage or a 2-inch move on the enemy model, allowing a fluid and reactive playstyle. Misery links well with the other staple woe ability in Opportunist, which allows them to completely remove stunned or another named condition to gain a positive to an opposed duel, which can be vital both offensively and defensively. Taking charge of the crew is the Master Pandora, an exceptional force of control on the board with effective card drain, potential damage and stunned application. Pandy's signature abilities are her Terrifying 13, Misery and Opportunist on any condition in the game, and aptly named Mood Swings, which allows her to pitch a card or pass token to decide which of the opponent's next activating models should go if they initially declare one that is within her 6-inch aura. The Master's Self-Loathing can replicate its target's attack actions from 10 inches away, while Fear's Given Form provides a shockwave over the same distance. Finally, Pandora's ability to output stuns is second to none, with her Dark Thoughts mash trigger on defense and willpower and the Box Opens bonus action, which denotes both the condition and 2 damage if an enemy fails the high TN14 willpower duel within a 6-inch pulse. Accompanying its master is the imposing Poltergeist, a move 6 incorporeal totem that offers great synergy with its keyword thanks to the Distraction and Weeping Widow abilities, which impose negatives to willpower duels and puts out a ruthless ignoring aura respectively. The totem's most destructive ability has to be the Telekinesis tactical action, which is able to remove all markers within a 4-inch pulse from its 50mm base, making it a priority target for crews that rely on board control. Moving over to henchmen, and we have Candy, a mini version of your master who offers some handy short-range healing with her Goodie Basket tactical action, which can also bestow fast on a crow trigger. Candy's mechanics revolve around her activating later in a turn, with manipulative, disarming, and corrupted innocence making life hard for enemies activating before her. The latter two in particular are devastating within 4 inches, where discarding a card, gaining stun to ping Candy's misery, and then being unable to declare triggers giving her pseudo 2 armor can be a frightening combination. Finally, Candy's Misery and Opportunist also targets the fast condition, helping to reduce the efficiency of crews that utilise the beneficial status. On the other hand, one might consider the 10 Soulstone Carver, a terrifying ruthless henchman that himself targets the focus condition, making him capable of undoing a great deal of concentration with a single opposed duel. Carver brings the Feed on Fear healing ability from his shared Nightmare keyword, and is also in possession of a stat 7 min 4 attack with his shears if he flips or stones to add to the inbuilt ram. A frontline fighter and tar pit, the Carver offers an excellent tech pick against factions who value focus highly, such as the Guild. Moving over to the Enforcers then, and we have the not so adorable baby Cade for 7 Soulstones, who himself possesses a stat 7 skinning knife that has 3 phenomenal triggers attached. Cade's lure action offers even greater damage potential thanks to his Pounce trait, which can give him fast to then attack with. Should Cade flip a crow on the lure, then he can impose the slow condition on the target, which will open up both his misery and opportunist abilities for subsequent damage. Cade's other main draw is his ability to hire in a Teddy as a versatile model, which can then impart healing and movement shenanigans with the baby's tactical action. Next up is the Joint Wildfire Iggy, who offers additional speed and burning through his attacks and reckless bonus action. Iggy's defensive triggers acts as a mirror to Candy's by reducing damage by 2 if an opponent does declare a trigger. For this reason and his anti-scheming arson attack, Iggy is an excellent flanker where he can operate with relative independence from the main bubble. The Woes bring 3 minions to battle in their keyword, starting with the aptly named Aversion, who can force a great deal of enemy movement with its Antipathy, Scatter and Terrorize abilities. The former in particular is an excellent protection for your highly prized targets like the Poltergeist and Candy in order to give them additional safeguarding. The Aversions also give your own forces some much needed movement thanks to their Frightening Reminder bonus action on a 4-inch push where needed. Next up for 5 Soulstones we have the Sorrow, a workhorse minion that can put out stun thanks to the Glimpse of Insanity while also gaining a damage boost against the condition thanks to their built-in Hopelessness trigger on their Claws attack. Additionally, the Sorrows act as excellent supplemental damage thanks to their Leech Life ability, which deals a point of damage to enemy models who start their activation within 4 inches, while also healing the incorporeal Ghosty. Finally, the shared Savage Lysa provide an alternative condition in the form of staggered to slow opposing forces, as well as dragging them out of position with the Bring It attack action. While they might have less access to them than with Euripides, Lysas can also make use of frozen markers from corpses to offer shielded and a heal should they get their tactical action off in the midst of combat. On the table, the Woe keyword excels at creating a bubble of control within 6 inches of their models where stunned, misery and mood swings can all dictate the flow of battle. Abilities such as Self-Loathing and Glimpse of Insanity allow ranged engagement while beaters such as Carver and Teddy are able to take advantage of weakened enemies. Strats and schemes that force centralised engagement play to Pandora's advantage, as do those that can be scored from within your own half of the board. Enemies with weak willpower will find this exposed quickly, with most attacks focusing on this stat as well as the terrifying trait of your higher costed models. Pandora herself can single-handedly ruin crews that rely on friendly condition thanks to her opportunist ability, while mood swings can be used to force models with manipulative to activate early in a turn. Finally, the threat of the Master's pulses and shockwaves, along with Candy's corrupted innocence, can offer serious card drain in early activations, further limiting your opponent's options. However, despair not, there are actions that you can take to mitigate the reach of Pandora's oppression, principal of which is their slow movement and reliance on forced engagement. Abilities such as leap, flight, and incorporeal can all help to keep the Woes at arm's length. Furthermore, models with ruthless and high willpower can circumnavigate a lot of the Woes' defences, leaving them open to damage with decidedly average base stats. Finally, the ability to reposition opponents through Laws and Burial can disrupt the Pandora bubble and buy you time to isolate key targets for assassination. So if you'd like to get to grips with the Pandora crew, then here is an example list for you to take out for a spin and get used to their mechanics. Hold down the middle with your named characters while the Sorrows patrol the wings to pincer their enemies. With Glimpse of Insanity, you can shut down opposing forces while Carver and Teddy act as muscle against enemy beaters. Use Candy and Pandora to target enemies with high damage and weak willpower, while Self-Loathing will do the most damage at a safe distance as you whittle away at their resources. So that brings us to the end of this Malifaux Master breakdown. We hope it's been useful in giving you a snapshot of its crew and their mechanics. A massive thank you in addition to the vocal talents of the wonderful Arvandus during the video's intro. You can find more of his excellent lore content in the links in the description below. For more talk about Malifaux and its masters, why not check out our podcast, The Harlefaux Show, where we break down each keyword and why you should play it. Alternatively, we have a wealth of beginner-friendly battle reports here on the channel that guide players through every flip and decision. Whichever you choose, we look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care, folks.
Hi guys, thank you very much for watching our content. It means the world to us. If you'd like to see some more videos, they should be over here. And if you'd like to support our channel, keep these lights on. You can find links to our Patreon and merchandise in the description below. See you later.